There's a particular kind of moment on morning television that doesn't announce itself loudly, it just settles into the room. And for anyone watching closely, that's exactly what seemed to happen here. A shift. Subtle but unmistakable. The kind of thing where you find yourself leaning a little closer to the screen without quite knowing why. Shephard has always carried himself with a certain steadiness on screen, the kind of presenter who feels dependable, grounded, the person you'd want delivering difficult news because he'd do it with care. So when a story touching something as personal as a hospital challenge involving his family came into focus, it landed differently than ordinary morning television chatter. Viewers who have spent years watching him banter, laugh, and effortlessly steer through breaking news suddenly saw a different side. Quieter. More careful with his words. And that contrast alone was enough to make people sit up. What's interesting about moments like this is how much they reveal simply through tone. Nobody needs to spell things out for an audience to sense when something matters more than usual. A slight pause before a sentence. A softer register in the voice. The kind of eye contact that lingers just a second too long, as if searching for the right words rather than reaching for a rehearsed line. Many viewers picked up on exactly that kind of shift, and it's often these almost invisible details that stay with people long after the segment ends. There's also something about the word family entering a conversation on a show like this that changes the entire emotional register. Suddenly, it's not just a presenter doing their job, it's a person, someone's husband, someone's father, navigating something that countless families across the country quietly go through every single day. And that's often where the real connection happens. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's recognizable. Hospitals, uncertainty, waiting rooms, the strange limbo of not quite knowing what comes next. These are universal experiences. When a familiar face on television touches even lightly on something like that, it resonates far beyond the story itself. It's worth pausing here, too, on what it must be like to carry something personal into a public space like a live broadcast. There's a vulnerability in that, even if only a small amount is shared, even if most of it stays private, as it should. Viewers seemed to sense that vulnerability, and the response that followed wasn't gossip or speculation dressed up as concern. It read more like genuine warmth. People offering good wishes. People saying, in their own way, "We're thinking of you," the kind of thing strangers don't usually say to each other, except when television creates that strange sense of familiarity over years of shared mornings. And that's really the heart of why moments like this carry weight. Audiences don't just watch presenters, they grow used to them. They become part of a daily rhythm, a familiar voice over breakfast, a face that's been there through years of news, both light and heavy. So when something personal touches that person's life, it doesn't feel like distant celebrity news. It feels closer, almost like hearing that a friend is going through something difficult. There's a quiet kind of bravery, too, in choosing to be present and professional even while something significant is happening behind the scenes. Whether that choice is made out of duty, distraction, or simply needing a sense of normality, it's hard to say for certain. But it's the kind of thing that, once noticed, makes you watch a familiar face just a little differently. With a bit more empathy, a bit more patience, a bit more appreciation for the person behind the presenter. Maybe that's what lingered most for viewers afterward, not a single dramatic moment, but the accumulation of small ones. A tone here, a pause there. The sense that real life doesn't stop just because the cameras are rolling, and sometimes it quietly shows through anyway. So what did you notice? Was it something in the voice, a particular phrase, or just a feeling that something was different that morning? Sometimes the smallest details are the ones that say the most, and it's often viewers, not headlines, who pick up on them first.